The best way to get better at programming is to practice. And in this example, we're going to look at building arrays in Java. Specifically, we're going to look at how to create an array that's not initialized and how to give it some initial values. As always, this file is available using a link provided below in the description. We'll pause for a couple seconds and then we can continue on. You can follow along or you can try it on your own and then check your answer. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to start with an array that is not initialized. So I'm going to have here just an integer array. It's going to say int. And then I always like to give my arrays a plural name. That makes it a little helpful hint that there's more than one value inside the array. Because remember, an array is a collection of values. So I'm going to say something like list. Now, list implies that there's a plural value to it, that there's more than one thing. Lists don't have a single item. Lists have multiple items. To define this as an array, I use the open and square brackets and say equals new int, and I'll say something like 5. This gives me an array with 5 elements and it is uninitialized. We don't have any values inside of them. You notice that we have to use the keyword new. And that's because an array is a reference that's pointing to a location in memory. And then we're saying how many elements of integers do we create at that. We'll talk more about references in the future. The second thing you might notice is when we say new int, we put the size of our array in the second part. So this is a little bit different than what you might expect in something like C or C++, but it's the way that Java handles it. Part of that is because arrays are an object, and we're going to see how we're going to use that once again in a future video. The next thing that you're going to want to know is just like in C and C++, arrays are both statically typed. That is, this integer array can only hold integers. We cannot store doubles, strings, or anything else like that, only integers. And it is statically sized. It has 5 elements, elements 0 through 4, and this cannot change while my array exists. I cannot go in and add 2 extra elements or subtract an element, anything like that. Arrays are statically sized and typed. So let's look at how we would create an array with some initial default values. I'm once again going to say int. I'm going to call this one values. Notice it is plural. Open and close square bracket equals, and then I'm going to use braces. Now, braces allow me to have a container of elements that I'm going to assign to it. So I can say 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, just to give it some odd values. And then this will create an array. It figures out how many elements it needs to be. It stores those values automatically. And there we have an array with some initial values. So we've not only declared it, we've initialized it with some values. So this is arrays inside of Java. Very simple and easy to use. Hopefully you found this helpful. If so, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing for more videos in this series on how to get better at programming in Java.